Alright, so now, get that piece out. Now on his, he said that this bolt simply popped out through the bottom. That this stud is not part of this, that it's a bolt that goes through. That would make sense because it's got to go through this block right here. The interesting thing is, this block right here on the end is actually screwed onto the end of this with a Allen screw right there, which is interesting to me because you would not be able to even get to this if this wasn't already ground away like it is, which is very interesting because, as I had said before, this is actually supposed to come all the way around and cover this area. I'm wondering if this had a piece broken off the back of it already, and this block is a repair piece that was screwed onto there. The other question is, if this is held on, is it only held on by this one Allen screw here? No, there's one on the other side. I can feel it with my finger. So how the heck are you supposed to get to that one? You can't. So this must have to come off, and then you take the screws out to take this block off. And now that I've got that piece, this piece that slid out, I should be able to let that bolt go down part way, but then it's going to hit this and stop dead. So that's interesting to me. Let's try and tap that and see what happens. I'll thread this back on. I did tap on it a little bit with the ball peen hammer, and then I quickly stopped because I didn't want to damage the threads. So I'll just tap this on. I mean, I'll screw this on part way, and then I'll just hit it with my dead blow hammer. Hey, that pops right out. And then it stops dead there and won't go any further, of course, because it's hitting this. So my next move is going to have to be to get this out of the way. There's no hole underneath this. Or is there? Alright, this slides on this, so is there a place where there's a hole that will allow that to go through? Maybe that hole right there. I have my doubts. Alright, this will only come over this far, and then it stops. So I'm going to try and slide it back all the way off that way. Yo, there's just a bunch of gunk in there. Oh, another jib. Oh, there's a bunch of jib screws in the back there. Into the parts washer with this. Okay, the underside of this has a part number on it, 601 S as in Sierra 57. So it's a pretty obvious part number there. Well, that bolt still isn't going to want to drop out. There's just not enough clearance there. I can't slide it any further back this way and have it drop out, or further forward. It only goes so far. So, in other words, that's a full forward, because then this hits right here. This is hitting there. It's not far enough forward off of this flat part right here to drop out. It's just a little too long for that to happen. Even if I pick up on it a little bit like that, it doesn't want to come out. So the only way I could see to drop this bolt out is to remove this part right here completely. And the interesting thing is that that's held on by this bracket here, down there, but also see a screw head here, and I'm sure there's probably a matching one on that side. So those screws are going to be a little trickier to get at. What's nice about this having been a well-oiled lathe and not being left outside for any long periods of time is all of these screws are coming right out. They've got generous amounts of oil all over them, keeping them from rusting in. So I think I can get a let's see, how am I going to get that? I think I can get an offset screwdriver in there maybe. Actually, it turns out with this other piece already removed, the part that slides on top of here out of there, I can actually come in right underneath this and sneak my screwdriver right in there. Look at that gunk. There's one more screw holding this on the other side here. I'm going to have to put the camera down so I don't drop this whole thing right off. Alright, I didn't take that screw all the way out, I just loosened it, and that let this slide down like this. So now I have enough clearance to pull this bolt, pop this bolt out all the way. Oh, maybe not. Boy, that's a really long bolt. It's still hitting. Oh, I'm going to have to take it all the way off. Alright, drop that out of the way. There's that bolt that I was trying to get out. So now with this bolt out, this piece should just slide right off. Oh, look at that. There's a washer in there. I want to make sure I keep track of the fact that there's a washer that goes underneath this, in between there. Alright, so let's throw this in the parts washer and see what we see for part numbers on it. Here's a better look at that little block that's screwed into the end of this piece. And this piece looks to me like it's originally a casting that was machined, and I think that it broke right here. It was probably very thin right around here, and I think it broke, and then I think somebody machined this end off, drilled and tapped some holes, and made this repair block. And the reason why I think that is because in the process of doing that, they weren't, well, it looks like what they did was they made sure that this upper edge lined up pretty well with the upper edge of this machined area right here. It's a little high. Not a perfect repair. It's offset is what I'm getting at. But I'm more and more convinced this is a repair job right here. You know, maybe this washer doesn't even exist in the original setup. Maybe it's something that had to be added to compensate for. No, I mean that space would exist either way. It just doesn't look like a factory washer. If you look at it, it's very... that hole doesn't look concentric to me. That's why I think this is a washer that somebody modified to fit here. So I don't think this washer was a part of the original game plan either. More evidence of this disgusting colored paint job, and this would be evidence that this is not the original factory paint job, because the gross paint is actually also present on the area that I believe was purposely ground away by somebody. I don't think that, like I said, I think this part was supposed to be like that all the way around, because the section of this that's missing is the hole, had the hole that would contain the end of a rod that acts as a depth stop for cutting tapered threads. And the green paint is present on the area that was ground away. So that means this was painted with the puke paint color after that repair, which means that this is not the original paint color, which is good because I don't like that color. I've seen a lot of machines with that color, and I've heard a lot of guys talk about shops that did use this color in their repaints, and it's not, I don't like it. So if I end up painting this thing, I'm definitely not going to go with that color. But there is a part number on the bottom of this, and the part number on the bottom of this is 601 S as in Sierra 57. So that kind of goes along with the part number that I saw on... Actually, it is the same part number. So it can't be, this can't be a part number for the part, because it's 601S57 on the bottom of that. So maybe that's a part number for the entire taper jig. Here's a part number right in the casting on the bottom side of the taper jig. Main casting here. Looks like a 12 space 225 by the looks of it. And then that piece there, I don't remember, did I see anything on that? Let me flip that one over. Oh yeah, this one has the, again, the part number in the casting, 12-538. There's the little jib that came out of there. That's got a number on it. That's the same old 601 S as in Sierra 57. Huh. Very interesting. What's my lathe serial number again? Two 26017. 26017. 60157. Or 601S57. 26017. Somewhat similar numbers, huh? Interesting.